Indian general elections will be happening once again in the year 2019. It will be the current government BJP versus Congress, the opposition. However, in this video, I wanted to speak not about that, but about the beef ban. You guys remember the beef ban, right? Well, for those of you who forgot, let me jog your memory really quick. Back in 2014, during the previous general elections, Prime Minister Narendra Modi accused the previous Congress-led government of driving growth off the back of cow slaughter, an act considered blasphemous by Hindus. Now, this was one of the major driving points of the previous election, which was dealt with both condemnation and a lot of support. Condemnation obviously from those who eat beef and support obviously from Hindus. Now, I too am 100% against the beef ban, but for quite a few different reasons. And in this video, I'm going to elaborate why. Now, according to the USDA, that is the United States Department of Agriculture, India happens to be one of the leading exporters of beef in the world, as India has always been. You see, this data isn't exactly decades old. It's from 2018. So, how on earth can a country that has banned the slaughter of cows be at the pinnacle of beef export? You see, this is all tied into another dark secret that nobody ever talks about. Beef can be defined as any form of meat that is procured from a bovine creature, like a cow, a bull, or a buffalo. According to the statistics provided by the USDA, right now in 2018, there are around 1 billion cattle on planet Earth. Out of this, 30%, that is 300 million cattle, exist in India alone. Well, so far things seem to be adding up, right? India is the largest exporter of beef in the world. India also happens to host the largest population of cattle on earth. But how is this possible in a country where cow slaughter is illegal? How is this possible in a country where the majority of the population belong to a religion that considers cows as sacred? And more importantly, how on earth did we get 300 million cows in this country to begin with? I mean, neither God nor evolution put 300 million cows in one random part of earth. Humans did. India not only happens to be one of the largest exporters of beef, but also happens to be the largest producer of milk on earth. You see, in order for a cow to produce milk, just like all other mammals, she has to be pregnant. All mammals produce milk in order to feed their offspring until they have grown teeth and can chew solid food. A cow cannot and does not produce milk magically all year round, contrary to what we all assume. You see, a cow can lactate for around 10 months before milk production ends. In order for that cow to produce milk again, she has to give birth again. With this in mind, you have to understand that a new cow has to be brought into existence every single year in order for dairy production to continue. And we so happen to have in this country a population of over 1 billion people who consume dairy. Now, what happens to these cows once they can no longer produce milk? And what happens in case a male calf is born because a male calf cannot produce milk? Well, according to this article written by the Agricultural and Processed Food Products Export Development Authority of India, this is the standard operating procedure followed in all Indian dairy farms. And I quote, "In India, large ruminants, cattle and buffalo are primarily kept for milk production and secondarily for meat production. When the dairy animals are retired from productive age, they are utilized for meat production in addition to male progeny born." You see, one must be very naive to think that milk can be produced without cruelty, and one must be utterly foolish to believe that the beef ban actually worked. So, in India, the land of AHIMSA, this is how milk is made. A cow is tied against her will. A person shoves their fist into the cow's anus and takes a steel catheter that contains bull semen, which is then inserted into the cow's vagina and shot directly into her uterus. Now think for a minute. If that action, forcefully making someone pregnant against their will, that action, sexually assaulting someone, sticking a steel rod into someone else's privates, if that action were done to a woman in our country, what would we call it? Rape? A violation? But do you know what it's called if it's done to a cow or a buffalo? Oh, it's called milk, ghee, curd, cheese, butter, lassi, chas, paneer, kulfi, ice cream, and don't forget milk chocolates. You see, this is so simple, but we humans fail to grasp it. A mother elephant produces milk not for me, not for you, but for her baby elephant. A mother tigress produces milk not for me, not for you, but for her baby tiger. My mother made milk for me, not for you or not for anybody else, but only for me. Now a cow produces milk for me, you, my neighbors, my mother-in-law. You see, this is where we have it all messed up. A cow produces milk for one reason and one reason only, for her children, not for anybody else. So what happens once the cow does give birth? If the calf born happens to be a male calf cannot produce milk in the future and is therefore declared useless by the dairy industry and is immediately sent to be slaughtered for leather and beef. Imagine that, a newborn baby who's supposed to be loved, cared for and nourished by his mother is instead now standing in line waiting for a knife to be lodged in his throat. In case the calf born is a female, she is immediately separated from her mother. Why, you may ask? Because if she were there, she would drink up all of her milk. And therefore, you would not be able to enjoy your morning chai or your evening coffee. While you sit there drinking her milk, she will instead be fed a special formula and will undergo the same fate as her mother 1 year from then. Once a cow can no longer produce huge quantities of milk, she will be sent to the slaughterhouse to be killed for her flesh and her skin. Make no mistake about this. Sometimes it's discovered that a pregnant cow is not able to produce good quantities of milk, and these cows are sent to the slaughterhouse pregnant, where they will be killed fully conscious. They will literally have their stomachs ripped open and their unborn fetus pulled out and slaughtered too. You paid for that glass of milk with your money, but that cow paid for it with her freedom, her dignity, her children, her blood, and her life. Now I know this all sounds very morbid and disturbing, but we really have to think about this. Just think about it. If it hurts so much for us to hear what these animals had to go through, then how much would it have hurt for those animals who actually had to go through this? Now, having watched this video so far, I want to ask you, do you care? Now, if you tell me that you genuinely do not care about the animals, their lives, or their well-being, then please stop watching this video. This video is not for you. But if you tell me that you do care for animals, not a lot, just a little, that if you've ever thought or felt bad about animals being killed for food, that if you've ever mourned the death of a beloved pet animal, that if you've ever felt bad about endangered animals being poached to extinction, that if you ever felt bad about someone throwing a stone on a sleeping dog, that if you ever had the kind heart to keep water outside on a sunny day to quench the thirst of many thirsty birds, that if you actually take the responsibility to feed the stray animals in your locality, say no more. You care about animals. And if you care about animals, I have a very important message for you, and this was something you were not taught in school. You see, if you care for someone, in this case the animals, you need to give something to them. You have to do something for them. Because when you genuinely care for someone, it's all about the recipient and not about you. So what can you do for the animals of this world? What must you do for the animals of this world? Now, if animals deserve anything at all from us, it is the right to live free and not to be used by human beings. You see, when we use an animal, be it for food, for clothing, for entertainment, in the name of culture, or for scientific research, we are basically saying that humans have the right to use animals for whatever they please, and that animals exist on earth just for us. You see, humans have a tendency to look at animals as beneath them, and this form of behavior can be defined by one word, and that is called speciesism. Speciesism can be defined as a form of discrimination or hatred that is taught to humans at a very young age, be it by their parents, their teachers, their religion, their culture, and the very society that they live in. You see, speciesism teaches us that human life, due to some irrelevant criteria such as intelligence and technological advancement, is somehow more valuable than animal life. And it also teaches us that we humans have the right to enslave, torture, and kill any animal as we see fit without penalty. Speciesism also puts blindfolds on our eyes and makes us perceive the lives of different species of animals as either morally superior or inferior. A good example for this would be many people think that the life of an endangered animal is for some reason more valuable than the life of, say, a chicken in a slaughterhouse. Now, you must understand that this endangered animal values his or her life just as much as a chicken in a slaughterhouse values her own life, just as much as every single human being who's watching this video values his or her life. You see, if you care for animals, you need to let them live free from human use. You need to stop looking at them as if their lives are beneath you. In other words, you need to live as a vegan. Now, this might be a new word to most of you, so let me define the word vegan for you. A vegan is a person who denounces to be a part of all forms of animal exploitation, which means a vegan does not consume any animal products, no meat, cheese, milk, eggs, honey, or any dairy products at all. A vegan does not wear any leather, wool, silk, or fur. A vegan doesn't use any products that are tested on animals. A vegan does not go to the zoo or the circus. A vegan does not buy a cat, a dog, or any animal from a breeder, but rather tries to give shelter to any animal that needs it. You see, if you care about animals even a little bit, it is no longer a choice to be vegan, but it becomes a moral obligation for you to be vegan. You have no choice. If you want to look at yourself in the mirror and call yourself civilized and not be a hypocrite, then it becomes absolutely paramount. It becomes imperative that you must be a vegan. Feeding stray animals is a personal choice. Leaving water outside on a sunny day for birds is a personal choice. Helping an injured animal on the street is a personal choice. You can choose to do it or you don't have to do it. Just because you don't help someone does not make you a bad person. But what is not tolerable is when you choose to intentionally exploit and harm someone else. To harm someone else is not your personal choice. It is not your right to do so. To not harm someone else, to live peacefully is your duty. Thus, being a vegan becomes your duty. If you want to help animals, you have to be a vegan. If you are a Hindu who wants to end slaughter of cattle in India, you have to be a vegan. If you're someone who cares about animals even in the slightest, you have to be a vegan. Being vegan is the first thing that you have to do. Anything else you want to do apart from that to help the animals, you can do. But being vegan is what you must do. It is the least you can do for the animals. And don't forget, just because the vast majority of people do something does not make the act morally justifiable. Please think about it and do go vegan. Thank you. Now, if you like this video, don't forget to share it with your friends. Do give this video a thumbs up if you loved it. If you hated it, do give it a thumbs down. And do mention in the comments below how you feel and what you think. In case you're interested now to know more about veganism or meet more vegans, do not forget to join the Facebook group, India Vegan Revolution. We welcome everyone who is interested in learning more about vegans and transforming their lives. And I also will be posting more content in the near future about veganism in English. And if you do want to follow up on all of that, don't forget to subscribe, like, and follow. So thank you once again for watching this video. This is Arvind, Animal Activist, signing out. See you next time.